Well, good afternoon. Welcome to round two of our player and coach interviews here. Um, our student athletes from the University of Cincinnati are Troy Copain and Kevin Johnson. Once again, a reminder, in asking a question, please wait for the microphones to come around. We have two microphones that will roam throughout the room. And please state your name and affiliation, and we thank you. Troy, let's start with you. Talk a little bit about your season thus far and what it's like coming all the way out to Sacramento.
Well, our season is great. It's going well. You know, I can't really. I want to say we are 27-5, something like that. But you know, it's great to have a winning season, especially for me, Kev, and Tobes. You know, going out with a win, with wins. Coming to the West Coast is not new to us. We've been here before. It's 2 years in Spokane, and this is the third year in the West. We haven't conquered the West, so our goal is to overcome some games and make it run in the West Coast.
Kevin, you probably are aware that you share the same name as a recent mayor of the city of Sacramento, who also is a pretty good point guard.
Yeah, definitely. Played for the Phoenix Suns. I don't know too much about Kevin Johnson other than that, though. But they're such a great point guard. But just happy to be here with my teammates. My last year here. Like you said, we're just trying to make a run here in California and finish out a great season that we had and, enjoy the moments.
Okay, questions for the student athletes, please. Gentleman in the back.
Yeah, TJ Mahoney, Turner Sports. With both of you guys being seniors, how much is there a little extra pressure to kind of make a run and get out of the West? To advance to the next round?
It's not really pressure because you just got to come ready to play. You can't be scared. You can't have extra anxiety inside. But the game's going to go how the game's going to go if you prepare well. You wake up excited. You get excited during warm-ups. The game should be fun. We know that it's our senior year, but we're not trying to put as much pressure on us. We know this is our last time ever doing this, so we got to try to play the best. But we just got to be ready to play and perform well, focus on the little things, and the game's going to take itself.
Mark Billingsley, Manhattan Mercury. Troy, what do you know about K-State? And talk about the team's defenses. People are saying this might be a really low-scoring affair.
Big 12, it's one of the best conferences of basketball. They've got great guards. Actually, one of my friends is on that team. We play AU together, Kamal Stokes. And then they got a big man, two big men, one shoots and one that plays very aggressive in the middle. It's going to be an up and down game, but it's going to come down to defense. It's going to come down to stops and rebounding and who executes the best. When I was 7 years old, we played in Baltimore for Baltimore's best till I was 10. We were second in the nation at 9. We grew up. My cousin played on the team as well. I haven't seen him since I moved to Virginia, probably since we was kids, but, we still have a great relationship with his family. The whole team still communicates. It's just an opportunity to play one. The basketball game is so small. You see people that that you played with back in the day, and it's good to see that we're all in college now. You get the opportunity, so it's going to be a fun game.
Advantages or disadvantages in playing him? I mean, obviously you haven't seen him in a while, but in terms of, you think his game, have you seen his game recently?
I know that he still is a great shooter, fast, point guard, but that's not my job. I just enjoy the game for the game. I let the coaches do the rest and just follow the scouting report.
Riley Gates, GoPowerCat.com. Kevin, I know you have had a very short amount of time to know that you're playing K-State and to prepare for them. Outside of their starting five, though, what do you see off of their bench? Guys like Corby Irvin and Isaiah Maurice who come off and provide them a little bit of a spark.
Having a short turnaround, not too much. Done a little bit of research, though. They definitely do come off the bench and help them. I think one of the guys is a power forward, I know they got another guard who likes to drive to come off the bench, but at the end of the day, we more so worry about us. It's not just K-State. We more focused on what we have to do, and we know if we show up to play, we stick to our game plan and our scouting reports that we'll be able to battle, and it'll come down, like you said, execution, rebounding, and at the end of the day, who make tougher plays, those 50-50 balls that we gotta have to get. So I don't know too much about the starting five or bench players, but as long as I know we prepared, it we'll be fine.
There's a lot of talk about pace and tempo these days in basketball. It seems like in the tournament and even in the season, teams that can control pace and actually play slower seem to be more successful. What do you guys do to control your pace, and how difficult is it to speed your team up?
Value in every possession. I don't really know. The game's up and down. If the game plan that coach tells us to do is run, then the whole game we're gonna run until he decides to slow us down. If it's something different about running plays, that's all on him. We don't really decide that. We just follow and then do the rest ourselves. I think Big 12 basketball is up and down. I think Cincinnati basketball is up and down, so it's definitely gonna be a fast-paced game. Trying to speed both teams up on defense. It's going to be a lot of shots. You just got, like I said, rebounding. Come down to the nitty-gritty stuff. 50-50 ball steals, deflections, who gets boxing out, all that good stuff.
Sorry. Troy and Kevin, can you talk about Cincinnati's basketball program and what it has done for your academic and athletic careers? A lot of great players that came out of that system.
For me personally, being a hometown native, it's given me plenty of opportunities, not just with basketball but off the court as well. Just a great program with great people behind it. A lot of people that care. Academically, it does a great job. Us two, well, the three seniors will be graduating here soon. And just as a basketball player, it's just give you that best opportunity to play against some of the best people in the world. Just the traveling, the experience, everything about it is pretty elite, man. That what you kind of as a kid, what you dream of as you watch and you learn about NCAA basketball. It's kind of like a little dream come true. But the program is a great program, great staff. We got great players, great academic coaches. Got to enjoy it. And I'm a big fan of Cincinnati, so being from there, I got all positives.
I'm from Virginia, and I was born in New York. And growing up, I used to watch the Big East tournament and go to Madison Square Garden and watch them play. And I knew they was tough basketball. And when I committed, they was still in the Big East. So for the basketball standpoint, that's what I was around from the prior players that that played before, Corey Blunt, Kenyon Martin, just to name a few. That team, Melvin Lovett, just people that were hard-nosed, gritty, wanted to get to it on the court, but off the court, nice, genuine guys, that you can hold a conversation with. The alumni is great. They still talk to us to this day. The 92 team that went to the Final Four talked to us when we wore their throwback jerseys on UConn. So it's just having a big family. Everybody that wears the CPAW is still together. Nobody's on the outskirts. And academically, like he said, you got seniors that's here that did school and play basketball and ready to graduate at the end of April when it's all over. So, the goal has been reached. The plan has been reached since we were kids for our families. For our parents to say, yeah, my son went to college, played basketball, and graduated, is something that we can have forever when we walk across the stage.
Here in the front.
Yeah, Riley Gates, Go Parakeet again. Troy, what do you make of the South region and all the talented teams that are in it? How tough is this region?
It is tough. What we got here? Us, K-State, UCLA, Kentucky, North Carolina. Hey, basketball is basketball. This is what tournament time is about. Like we said, all we can do is come to play. We can only prepare as best. When the ball gets tipped to throw in the air for a tip-off. It's about who wants to be a tougher team, who wants to get the job done. And then the coaches, when they prepare well for their scouts, you can't say anything else about it because you never know how the game is going to go. Anybody can be beat on any given day. It's not planned. This isn't, you can't see the future, so you just got to be prepared, for the present, live in the present. And, having all this talent is something, you don't want the easy way route. We didn't get the easy way in the South region, so we just, ready to ball, ready to play, and, do what we do best, what we plan to do since we was kids.
Any further questions? Okay, fellas, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck. Not enough of us.
That's right. I agree.
Okay, we have Cincinnati coach Mick Cronin, and Coach Cronin is one of only 6 head coaches to go to the NCAA tournament in each of the last 7 years. A tremendous accomplishment, Mick.
Thank you, sir.
Aside from having good players, to what else do you attribute that?
being a good Irishman like yourself. You want me to start it off?
Sure.
Let's do it. You going to partake tomorrow at all?
Once the games are over.
Okay. Just checking. I got to take St. Patty's Day. I can't really celebrate. So usually, fortunately, we've been playing last 7 years. But obviously, we've had a tremendous year, 29 wins for our team. And it's been fun the whole way because we have a very unselfish group of guys. They've been extremely pleasant to deal with and to coach because they play for each other. Coaches talk a lot about stuff like that, but it's hard to find. It's hard to, especially hard to find this day and age when unselfishness, when the individuality and brand marketing and the things that are glorified in our society today for athletes are what they are. So I'm really appreciative of my players. They got great attitudes. Aside from their talents, they have tremendous attitudes. They're great people. So we've just had a great run this year and tried to prepare. We knew we were going to be in this tournament for a long time, so we've been trying to prepare as best as we could for the NCAA tournament, to try to go on a run and be successful here in March. So we're excited to get started because, like I said, we've had this in mind for quite a while.
Coach Mark Billingsley, Manhattan Mercury. When you found out you're playing K-State, how did you do the preparation? Was it a lot of video? Was it a lot of making phone calls to common coaches that played in the Big 12 that you know? Talk a little bit about the process of finding out anything and everything you can about K-State, and what can you share with us on the intelligence?
Well, first of all, I would hope I didn't call anybody in the Big 12. My staff does the reconnaissance stuff. I would hope that their head coaches in their league wouldn't have answered if I would have called. There should be a little bit of league loyalty. But I watch a lot. In this day and age with technology being what it is, when our plane landed here Tuesday night, for about the next 24 hours, I watched probably the last 2 months of their season. So that's what I did all day Wednesday and Wednesday night, getting myself acclimated with K-State. And Coach Weber and Chris Lowry did a great job building the Southern Illinois program. So when I watch them play, it takes me back to my time at Murray State because they're so competitive. They don't take plays off. They never give in on either end of the floor, especially lately when they've been playing well. They've really made it hard. They make it as hard as they can on you to score. But I think they also do it on offense. They make it. Their players really know what they're good at. They're unselfish, and they're doing everything they can to get a great shot. So I don't see them taking possessions off. They just don't give in and take a bad shot. If they get in late clock, obviously they got to get the best one they can. But they do everything they can to get a great shot on offense too. And that's a tribute to Coach Weber. I think watching them play, it seems like I would guess that he really likes these guys and what they've become. Obviously, I haven't talked to him, but watching his teams play for over the years, that would be a guess of mine. So I have a lot of respect for them and what they've had to go through to make the tournament.
Ken Corbett, Topeka Capital Journal. Looking at the stats between your team and K-State, they look pretty similar. Do you see a lot of similarities between your teams, what you try to do, and especially on defense?
Well, I'm not a huge stats guy, so I don't know them like you would probably know them, because I think that stats are relative to competition is why I would make that statement. I would say that we're both very balanced. As far as we don't rely on one guy to score, they don't rely on one guy to score. I'd like to think that I know that they play really hard from watching them for the last 2 days, so I'd like to think that would be the similarity, other than statistically, that both teams make sure both teams make it really hard on their opponents, do everything they can to maximize who they are. That both of us are overachieving type of teams.
Right. Excuse me, Riley Gates, GoPowerCat.com. When you look at K-State, what do you see on their bench, the reserve guys, when they come in? What type of a spark do they provide, and how tough is that going to be for you to stop?
Well, I think they're obviously bringing, when they go to the bench, they get younger. But Snead was high rated, right? Wasn't he a high rated recruit? We don't get a lot of those guys, so I don't know them all those high rated guys. But he can really shoot. I mean, he can really shoot. And I think it's Maurice, number 10, right? I'm a numbers guy. He's come on late, and it seems like Coach Weber's really comfortable putting him in the game now. And I obviously, I didn't see him in November, December, so maybe their development has helped them turn it around a little bit. I know they had the law in February. They're not the deepest team, and I'm sure the Big 12 was so brutal. I'm sure that probably had some effect on them. Where some of maybe the other blue bloods got a few more bodies than they do, but they definitely get younger. But they're talented. Snead can really shoot. I mean, he can really, really shoot. So, whenever a guy this late in the year, when you're a guy like that, everybody knows that you're a shooter, which means you don't get a lot of wide open shots. So it means you're still making shots. That means you can make contested shots.
Josh Peter with USA Today. You referred to the growing presence of individuality and branding. Lonzo Ball's here, and his father's already started a brand for him and for his brothers. They sell T-shirts, hoodies, hats. How do you feel about kids getting ahead of the game like that?
I would say that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If everybody else can make money, they're his sons. Now, I don't think he can beat a lot of these people in one-on-one that he's claiming he can beat. But in all seriousness, I mean, they're his sons. And I firmly believe in that. And I don't think you have to worry about his kids. From what I've seen, they're worried about winning. If his son maybe passes the ball too much. But when it comes to the other side of it, I say more power to him. I mean, they're his kids. I think the era of everybody else making money is over. So I say good for him.
Kellis Repnet here with the Wichita Eagle. Coach, I think a lot of people...
Can I add one thing to that? Because I'm a parent. I think instead of kidding around about his one-on-one, I think that what I saw, because I've watched some of that stuff, we should be thankful that he's a great parent that loves his kids. And his kids wouldn't be that good if he didn't spend that time with them. And he could have been sitting on the couch drinking beer and watching games, telling his kids to go across the street. He was spending time with his kids. I saw all those videos. I love my daughter. She's here with me. So his kids wouldn't be what they were if he didn't spend time with them. So all the other stuff aside, we all love to judge. Everybody's got their opinion. If he wants to say wild things, be funny, that's great for him. But I think what's lost in the shuffle, that what should be glorified, is that man's obviously is a really, really good parent that spent time with his kids. That's something I try to do in my program. I try to show my players that that's the most important thing about being a man. So I applaud him for that.
Coach, I feel like people thought both you and SMU might get higher seeds in this tournament with your records. Was that surprising to you that you guys came in at number 6?
It was surprising, but I'd say it's irrelevant. I just think it's irrelevant, which has been my point. It's irrelevant. You're going to have it. First of all, I don't aspire to the thought process that if we were to lose, that our year is a failure. With the year they've had, if they don't make the Sweet 16, then it's a disappointment. Well, to who? My 3 seniors are going to graduate. Troy Copain became the all-time assist leader in the history of our school. We don't let other people quantify success for us. So when you talk about the tournament, the way I look at it, there's only one winner. Now I get it. There, you know, people want to when they quote coach when people quote coaching resumes. He's been to 2 Sweet 16s and 3 Final Fours, and I know this. Like Rick Pitino's a mentor. He's like my older brother, and I tell you this, okay? He loves. I mean, the guy's competitive, but when you're, you know, when as a coach, when people are standing around talking about you over your gravesite, we're Irish, so we know that there'll probably be a little Irish whiskey. They're not going to sit there and talk about how many Sweet 16s or Elite 8s you went to. Your former players are going to be there because you impacted their life. So I don't look so my point would be with the seed is that only one team's winning the tournament. So eventually, like you're not just going to keep playing the 16 seed. So what round you might get knocked out in, to me, is irrelevant. Doesn't matter. So that's why I would say it just doesn't matter. Now you may sit there, this is crazy. You know, we're trying to win 6 in a row and win the tournament. Or what the heck are we doing here? So what's the difference of all that stuff? I mean, yeah, you may get an easier path. Well, then somebody's gonna have to get upset for that to happen. You know, yeah, you might get one game off if you're playing a 15 or a 16. You might get one game, but so you get one game that may be a little lighter. I mean, is that really? If you're good enough to win it, then you better be able to beat somebody. So that's why I say, you know, it really don't matter. And all that seeding stuff, it's subjective. So, and it's always going to be subjective. There'll be years where you get a better seed. There'll be years where you get a worse seed. We've been in it 7 straight, so it is what it is.
Hi, Mick. Shelley Smith
Hey,
from ESPN.
Shelley.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Does your daughter have a brand yet?
Yeah, she's the boss. All you got to do is hang out with us. I'd like to, if I was to admit how much money she spent at shopping yesterday, it's embarrassing. Yeah, her brand is my boss, without question.
Coach Bill Koch with the Providence Journal. You played Rhode Island very early in the season. What did you see about them that might have made you believe that they would be an NCAA tournament team and get here?
Well, Danny's calmed down. He's matured a lot. You know I'm kidding, right? He's a good friend of mine. They get good players. You know, I get lost in the shuffle. I know they had Martin was injured, right? And Garrett got injured in our game. Hassan got injured. They've had other guys get injured along the way. Plus, I think, you know, then you had to integrate E.C. Matthews back into the fold. So they've been through a lot. But obviously they're playing well of late. Again, because Danny's calmed down. But, you know, they've got a toughness about them. They're a veteran group, too. Scary when you play a veteran group is at this time of year because they've been through some battles, some wars, and they've had downs, and they've figured out how that bonding together gets you back up and equals W's. So I'm glad we're not playing them.
Mark Wicker from the LA Daily News. Troy was in here talking about the mold of a Cincinnati player and how you used to watch him in the Big East tournament and the toughness and the resolve and all those things. How long does it take to kind of create that, or are they that way when you recruit them and that's what you look for?
Well, we try to recruit the best player we can that's got some character and wants to play to win. But I think, you know, with all these kids, you know, even the best players in the country coming out of high school, it's a lot harder than they thought once you get to college. I mean, for most of them, for 99.9% of them, college basketball is a lot tougher than they thought, just practice alone. So, you know, Troy probably took him a year. Some guys, you know, Jacob Evans, it did not. He was able to do it right away. It just depends. You know, I think that we just try to make sure that we try to recruit kids that have enough character to realize that they want to get their degree and that we play to win. Now, others write that, you know, well, we focus on defense. No, we try to do whatever it takes to win. We try to make every shot, too. But, you know, to win in team sports, you have to play defense and you have to play unselfish. So we just try to focus on the things that it takes to win and win consistently. But, Troy's a great example of a guy that, because he couldn't guard his lunch from a pack of ants in high school. I mean, it was bad. In fact, we were at the Big East tournament, and I was watching film of him because he signed early. So I was just sitting there one night watching. They made me a highlight reel, and they gave me a game where he had like 37, but it was just a whole game. And he had 37, but I think he gave up 37. I remember sitting there with my dad in somewhere in some hotel in Manhattan thinking, boy, this guy's got a big adjustment coming. So, but I'm proud of him. He's probably the oldest senior or the youngest senior in this tournament. He turned 21, I think, like November 29th or something. So he's another kid with great character, great parents. He understands what it's all about. Be a great coach someday, hopefully.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you. You enjoy tomorrow.
UCLA will be next. He's good. Next group's at 4:30.